We were at a very well-known Chicago restaurant that had an interesting service charge. So we had dinner. I'm not super expensive. There was five of us, and our check was under $150. They brought the check out, and as they brought the check out, the servers let us know that there was a 15% service charge already added to the bill to help support minimum wage staff. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, well, that is what that is. But I didn't know, like, what does minimum wage staff mean? Like, when you're in the state of Indiana, it's, servers are $2.13, then everybody else is under $8. Chicago, I think they just went to a $15 minimum wage for everybody, at least restaurant workers. So I wasn't exactly sure what that meant, but I was cool with it. But then they brought the check out and they put the little terminal in my face, and there was an option to tip more. But the options to tip more, and I've got no problem tipping, and I was planning on tipping more anyway, but the options to tip more after the 15% service charge to support the minimum wage staff, the options to tip more were 4%, 5%, and 6%. So it was confusing to me because I didn't know, like, does that 4%, 5%, 6% go to the service staff? Does that original 15% go to help out the kitchen guys that are maybe in the back working hard? And like I said, like, I maxed out the tip. It didn't even give me a place to like tip anything extra. I maxed out the tip.
So 6% was the most you could do?
21% total, I guess, by the time.
That spot, 6%.
But the confusing thing to me was, who am I taking care of?
Right.
Like, I was confused because I didn't want to undercut my server if they were not getting part of that.
Right.
So that was the most interesting dining experience.
That's very interesting. And I'm glad to hear, though, because I thought you were going to go a different direction with that, because I think one thing that I would be a little nervous about, knowing how the world works and corporations and things like that, like, they may still, even though that 15% was on there, they may still put 15, 20, 25% on that tip screen.
Sure.
And like, then all of a sudden you're like sort of duped into tipping.
And I probably would have been a little uncomfortable with that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, so it's cool that it was 4%, 5%, 6%. That sort of makes sense. Be cool if you could get a little bit more of a range.
Like for me in general, I'm at least a 30% tipper.
Yeah,
just because it's what I do, and like, I'm known around town, and you got to pay it forward a little bit. But it was just an interesting interaction.